Do you know how uncomfortable it is sitting on this floor? For the first time of all these videos, I'm actually like, I might just put a cushion down to make it a little bit more comfortable. Right, today's video is going to be how I became a YouTuber and, you know, got the job of my dreams. So I'm just going to run through. I don't think I've ever really talked about it before, so that is today's video. So, if you didn't know, I trained to be a journalist. Also as well, I can do shorthand. Little fact about me, yeah, I can do shorthand. So yes, journalist. I was a journalist for maybe 5 years on a local paper, and then I got a little bit fed up with it. Not the job, I think I just felt like I've been doing it. I've been at school, college, uni, job, like a postgraduate course in journalism, into the job straight away. I'd never really had a break from anything, so I was like, you know what, I want to go travelling. So I took the decision to leave that job. Even though it was a good job, I liked it, I liked where it was, people were really nice, but I was like, I just need to take the risk. So I went travelling, as all Brits do, and went to Australia and Southeast Asia on my own. Went travelling there, ended up buying my first ever road bike and started a YouTube channel. And I just started recording just my travels, mainly really just for me to look back on and remember the trip really. And that trip changed I can't even tell you, the bike and the starting YouTube completely changed my life. I didn't know at the time it would, but it has. And so, yeah, I just travelled around and then I came back, ended up losing loads of weight because I was carrying on cycling, I was carrying on making videos, and then I got back into journalism. I had always wanted to live in Manchester. Just 'cause I love the music from here. I don't know, I just had this pull to Manchester. I just always wanted to live here. And then a job came up at a newspaper in Manchester. I was like, oh, that is the dream job. But hundreds of people applied for it, and I was like, I don't know, I was positive, but I was like, the likelihood is I might not get it. I did get it, and I was like, this is amazing, get to move to Manchester, do a job that I love, and I was just like made up. I was so excited, that was the dream job. So I started there, and constantly in this time I was still creating YouTube videos, I was still riding my bike, I was still learning about cycling and sharing that as I was going on my channel. I then, just working as a journalist, loved it, I don't know, it was just the perfect mix of everything. I just really enjoyed it. And then I was there for what, 4 years maybe? I don't know what it was. I just felt like, because at that point I'd been a journalist for 10 years or so, and I was just like, I just feel like I've done everything that I ever wanted to do within journalism. I just felt like I'd, basically not done it all, but I just got a little bit fed up of it. And I decided, maybe there's something else out there for me. And so I ended up looking for another job, and came across a kind of press role at a vegan charity, and it was part-time. And by this point I hadn't really been making any money on YouTube, and I think I'd probably I'd probably been on YouTube for 2 years before I got any money at all. I think it was like 60 quid or something. But then when I was in Manchester, I'd started getting a little bit off Google AdSense, which is the adverts that you watch kind of before the video. You get a tiny fraction of a pence per view. And then I'd slowly start to get a little bit of money on that, nowhere near enough to live off, not even anywhere close. But it was a little bit, and I was like, right, so if I'm really careful with my money, I can go part-time at this charity, and then I can try and build up YouTube at the side to try and maybe make that into a job. And I was like, this is a big risk. I'm leaving a career that I've trained in and that I've got a really good job at, that I love, or do I take the risk and do something different and try and give YouTube a go? It took me a long time to make this, not a long time, but it was a hard decision to make. And I was like, do you know what? If I'm ever going to do it, this is the perfect opportunity to do it. I need to take the risk. So I took the risk. And it's paid off. But I was at the charity, I loved that. So that was 3 days. And then on the side of that, I was obviously creating YouTube videos, and I'd started to work with a couple of brands at that point, which was really exciting. So I was like, oh wow, this is really coming together. And at that point, I don't know, I just felt like this was a brilliant decision to make, and I'm so glad that I made that decision. And then I was there for the charity for maybe 2 years, still creating the content, doing all that kind of stuff, creating the videos. And then I got chatting with Ribble. And as you know, I am sponsored by Ribble now, so I ride Ribble bikes, love their bikes. It was actually me that went to them because I was like, I really love their bikes, what they're offering, I just really like it. And then it turned out that they had a role potentially that I could fill. So, and that's kind of doing some of their media stuff. So I now do a couple of days at Ribble. The rest of the time I'm doing YouTube, and it is just like a heart. It is just the dream job and the dream combination, because I'm able to share just like fun trips, reviews, just tips that I've learned for cycling with you, and then also working for a bike brand that I really like and I've just really gelled with. I really like the people there, I love what they're about, and I'm just very lucky and very grateful that this is how I make a living now. And yeah, and I guess part of that as well is because of you, and that you have been following my journey, and I'm very, very appreciative that you've kind of stuck with me over the years and just been always so supportive and so lovely and kind, and I'm very grateful for that. So I thought I would give you a couple of tips on things if you are in a position where you want to change career, or you want to do something that you feel is much more aligned with, you know, what you want to do in life. So I'm just going to give you a couple of tips that have worked for me, and yeah, I hope they help. So the first one is have gratitude and be grateful for what your current job is. I read an amazing book called The Power by Rhonda Byrne. It is incredible. I was never really into law of attraction and things like that until I read that book, and it is probably the most life-changing book that I've ever read. It is incredible. And what that talks about is you can never pull things into your life while you are ungrateful or you are thinking about the negative. Always think about the positive. And so, for example, with the job, even when I was in the job that I didn't really want to be in anymore, I would still be really grateful for that job. I'd be like, well, this job still pays my bills. It's with a really nice group of people that I love seeing every day. And it's in a nice place, in a nice environment, and I do love it. Like, there were the parts of it that I still did love, so I would always look at the positive of that. So that's the first thing to do, be positive. Also, very quick side note, because when I went for my interview, and I knew there were loads of people applying for it, when I went in for the interview, there's a big sign as you go in of the newspaper, and I remember thinking when I saw it, I was like, God, I'd love to work here and see that every morning as I came into work. And so at the point where I was like, I don't really want this job anymore, when I used to go into work, I would see that sign still, and it would remind me, I'd be like, do you know what though? I'm so grateful that I've had this opportunity to work here, and it would remind me to be grateful. When I saw that sign, I'd be like, no, this is what you felt then, and like, take some of that gratitude now, because this is what you always wanted. You got it and you had the opportunity, so I'd always be grateful. That's the first thing. It's got to be something that you absolutely love doing. So as I said before, I don't know why I sound like I'm out of breath. Am I talking really fast? So yeah, I did it for years before getting any money at all, just because I loved doing it. I loved creating videos, and I loved sharing it, and I loved kind of the conversations and stuff that we'd have. So it's got to be something that you genuinely love and enjoy doing. You get to put in the time and the effort, because I have put a lot of time. I think people maybe think that it's like a really easy, simple thing to do, and yeah, for a lot of it, it is a fun, but it's not always easy, and it's taken me a lot of time to figure out editing, how to work a camera. There's lots of other things that go into it, and so you do have to spend time and put effort into it. And again, like when I was working full time, I was on my evenings and on my weekends, I would be doing that, and I'd be trying to learn these things and trying to learn how to edit and coming up with different video ideas. And yeah, so it was a lot of work. Next tip is have people around you that support you and want you to get your dream job. Because if you've got people around you that are just wanting to hold you back or not wanting the best for you, that's like one of the biggest things that is going to not get you where you want to be. And I've got this to show you because I love this so much. Right, look at this. I'm going to explain what it is. Can you see it? So this is what Jay bought me. If you've been watching my channel for a while, know who Jay is. Jay was my boyfriend, friends now, but he bought me this, and it is a Katie Kookaburra YouTube plaque. So when you get 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, you get a plaque, and he got one made for me because he knew that I wanted to eventually, like, I guess, be a YouTuber. And this one says, congratulations for surpassing 7,000 subscribers. So even then, he was so supportive of that. And my friends have always been like, I don't know, just like helping me film stuff, or they'd be like, oh, why don't we get a picture of you here, or just helping me out. Or if I've said to them, oh, do you mind just filming this or taking a picture of that? They've always just been nice and always been good about being on camera. None of them have been like, don't get me on camera. They've always just been very patient and supportive of me, so I'm very grateful for that as well. I'm very lucky to have friends like that. And then I guess the last thing is, your dream job is still work. Like, even though it's your dream job, you still got to put the time in, you still got to make sacrifices sometimes. So for example, like when we go on like cycling holiday trips or whatever, a lot of that time I will be filming and I will be editing. It's not always just like riding bikes and then just going to lay down and having a drink or whatever. A lot of it is still work. So, but I'm very grateful that this is what I get to do for a living, and I don't ever take it for granted. And again, this is because you are supporting me and you follow me and you subscribe to my channel and you like my videos and you just support me. So thank you so much for helping me live, or make a living from the thing that I really love doing. And oh, I'm getting all teared up. No, genuinely though, like, I do really appreciate all the support and stuff that you've given me over the years, and yeah, just thank you. So if you've got any questions, because this is a long video, if you've got any questions, then leave them in the comments. And yeah, this is like the perfect time just to start. It's always the perfect time to start going after a job or a career or anything that you really want. Like, you just got to do it now, because what's the alternative? That you wait 5 years and regret it? Like, I've taken the risks, and I'm so glad that I've taken the risks. And so far they've paid off. So, right, I'm going to leave it there, and I will see you next video. Bye!